Hello, my name is Summer Peters. I am from Mount Pleasant, Michigan. I currently make my home in Phoenix, Arizona, and I am a bead worker.
What is the significance of working in beads for you?
The significance for me is I just grew up around beads and paint and clay. So I watched my mom make a living from her beads because, I grew up with just her. She was a single mom. And she was going to school, so she was working really hard, but we needed the extra income. So she took what she was taught, and that helped supplement her income. So, she was able to take care of the house, take care of me. So just seeing that, coming from like an entrepreneur type background, making ends meet with our God given talent. So that's where I guess my first exposure into business, being an entrepreneur. And so that was really significant for me because that's how I ended up moving into doing art full time because I did have a job before. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what, I don't want to be working 50, 60 hours a week with all these other people when I could stay home and raise my kids. So instead of putting them in daycare, I stayed home and did my beadwork. And it just, the rewards and benefits that came from that was just, I couldn't even imagine it.
Right. Can you talk about your creative process? What does that look like? What's from the beginning to the end product?
Yeah, so my creative process, I mean, there's no real set, nothing set in stone. I just I see an idea, and I can get an idea from pretty much anywhere. Like even, sitting here right now looking at some of the lights, the way that the colors are playing off of each other. I get inspiration from that. So what I usually do is I'll go and I'll just start drawing. And I'll draw on one half of one side of the paper, and then I'll go and I'll fold it, and I'll take it to a light box. If I don't have a light box, I'll take it to the window with the sunlight. So I just take advantage of anything, that I have in my possession at the moment. And then I make it really symmetrical. It has to be the same on both sides for me because I'm such a big perfectionist. And then I just, from my drawing, I put it on to my material that I actually bead on, and then I just go from there. And for me, with my creative process, I don't have the pleasure of sitting for 8 hours. So I, have it. I take it with me if I have to go to the doctor's. I'll take it with me, bead in the doctor's office. I've taken it to the airport, beaded, while waiting for my plane, on the plane. I've even, like in those times that I was preparing for a show, I've even beaded at a stoplight. So it's kind of like I need to just take advantage of whatever time that I have. So, everybody's creative process is so different, but that's mine. Yeah.
You kind of mentioned it, but what
Mm-hmm.
or who inspires you to make?
Well, ultimately, the future generations is the main inspiration because, I know that I am working to preserve our artwork, and they're going to really be able to see a snapshot in time, taking kind of like, our bandolier bags. There was colors available at that time that we don't have now. So I can take those ancient forms and then translate them into the color palettes of today, that type of thing. So, the future generations are going to see a snapshot of, Ojibwe woman artist in 2017.
Similar. How do your modern pieces tell stories of traditional Native American life, animals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's different, because there's so many people that do beadwork. I think it's different for me because I'm really putting, myself, my experience, my likes into that. So, obviously, I have, my experience of living in the city. So, I think I like a lot of different things that wouldn't naturally be from Michigan. I've had the pleasure of living, out in Phoenix. I spent a lot of time in Los Angeles, New York City. So all of those experiences, they come through my beadwork. Um, so like what I said earlier, it's just kind of like, they're seeing a different perspective. I'm still Ojibwe. I'm still from here. My roots are still deep, but it reflects all these experiences outside of Michigan.
Summer, what are you most proud of in your life as an artist?
So I'm most proud of when I'm doing my beadwork that it's translating to every walk of life. And then most recently, with my beaded bra and panty set, it really opened up a lot of conversation. So there was a lot of harsh criticism, but at the same time, it helped give voices to other women that were dealing, with being a, sexual abuse survivor to, performers, burlesque performers. Because women, they wear bras and panties every day. That's not an open invitation to anybody for them, to be assaulted. So it's kind of like taking back, your power. There was a lot of criticism, saying that it opens up, but for us, I was just really proud that people and women, they were behind me and they're like, don't listen to them, keep doing your art because it is bringing attention, to our issues. So
What do you want viewers to notice or know or appreciate about you, your artwork, or your culture when visiting the exhibition? What do you want viewers to know?
I would like viewers to know that, we're not all just teepees and horses. We're not that typical view of Native American people, especially us because, our tribes didn't have teepees, we didn't have horses. So, this is just going to bring out a whole nother side of the Native American experience. Because we are way up here in Michigan, and I just really want them to know that there's a difference between all of us. And I'm just, happy that I'm able to bring my floral out to show that, it can be done in a modern way, yet still be in line with tradition.
The last one. What exciting things are you working on right now?
I have the exciting things that I'm working on, and I'm getting excited just thinking about them because they're at home waiting for me. But of course, it's always the mix between traditional and contemporary. So I actually have a bandolier bag that I've been working on for several years, and I get to work in my black and white, color palette that I really like to use a lot. So that's exciting. That's waiting for me back in Phoenix. And I also have more of the risque, bikinis and things of that sort. Yeah, so super excited to get back and start getting it done.
Can you say thanks for visiting and any of your contact information that you might want to share?
Thank you for visiting the exhibit. You can contact me on Facebook under Summer Peters. I have a Facebook fan page, Mama Longlegs, and they can also be reached on Instagram, #SummerPeters, and it'll pull up all my beadwork. Go ahead and contact me. I'm always loving, to talk to new people.